أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا. ما يهدي الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له. وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله أرسله بالحق بشيرا ونذيرا بين يدي الساعة. من يطع الله ورسوله فقد رشد ومن يعصهما فإنه لا يضر لنفسه ولا يضر لها شيئا. أما بعد، نستقبل الحديث كتاب الله فأوثق الله كلمة التقوى وخير ملة إبراهيم وخير سنة محمد وأشرف الحديث ذكر الله وأحسن القصص هذا القرآن وخير الأمور موازينها وشر محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار. أما بعد، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبعث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا. أما بعد، بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إن الله لا يغير ما بقوم حتى يغيروا ما بأنفسهم. صدق الله العظيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل عليه وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين ومن تبعهم بإحسان إلى يوم الدين. أما بعد، أيها المسلمون, indeed, all of the praise is for Allah. We seek His help and we seek His forgiveness and we seek Allah's protection from the evil of our own selves. Whomsoever Allah shows the righteous path, no one can mislead him. And whomsoever Allah deprives of the righteous path, no one can put him on the path of righteousness. And I further testify that there is no God except Allah, the one, having no partner. And I bear witness that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the servant and apostle. And he, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he sent Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam as the giver of glad tidings, good news, and also as a warner ahead of the day of judgment. So whosoever obeys Allah and His Prophet, he's on the path of righteousness. And whosoever disobeys Allah and His Prophet, he harms himself and does no harm to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the least. The most truthful speech and discourse is the book of Allah, Al-Quran Al-Kareem, the final message of Allah for all of mankind, the blacks, the whites, the reds, the browns, all of mankind, every nationality, every race of people on this earth. The Quran is for all of mankind. And of course, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam was sent not only to the Arabs, but all of mankind also. The most trustworthy advice is that we should have taqwa, fear and respect of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as He should be feared and obeyed. And alhamdulillah, how can we use the word of respect if we don't respect Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? This is the foundation of the meaning of the word respect. It has to emanate from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who created us, all of us. And alhamdulillah, the best of the community is the community of Prophet Ibrahim alayhi salam. And here we make it very, very clear that the Muslim Ummah, we the Muslim Ummah, are part of the community of Ibrahim alayhi salam, he being the father of monotheism. The best way of life is the Sunnah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Indeed, the remembrance of Allah, the dhikr of Allah is the most glorious of all things. To remember Allah when things are very, very great and beautiful for us, when the money is coming in from the job or from the business, everything is looking very, very good. We praise Allah for that, alhamdulillah. And we're grateful to Allah for that one. And we remember Allah, and we're generous in helping people, and we're generous to our families and the neighbors and the people and the poor, and so on. But what about when things are not so great? When things are a bit tight, there's not too much money coming in from the job or from the business and so on. Are we still generous? Are we still grateful to Allah? Are we still kind to our spouses and to our families and the people that we encounter? Do we remember Allah when things are tough and things are very, very, very grave, difficult? This is the point. Alhamdulillah, we understand that the best actions are those actions that require some degree of determination and commitment, such as the fasting during Ramadan. All too often, we fast the month of Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, inshallah, we're successful in fasting, at least the physical part, and even many of the esoteric parts and the spiritual parts and so on as well. But as soon as the month of Ramadan is expired, we begin to slip. We're no longer so punctual with our prayers and the giving of charity and so on, and the reading of the Quran. We fall away. We fall away. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us from that condition of not being mindful of Him. We fasted a month of Ramadan so that we might attain taqwa, so we can avoid slipping like that. So alhamdulillah, we praise Allah for His generosity and His kindness in inviting us to Islam and bringing us to Islam itself, alhamdulillah. It's only by the grace of Allah that we are even Muslim, alhamdulillah. Of course, the worst of actions are those actions that are based on innovation, because these type of actions, they tend to try to undermine Islam itself. Alhamdulillah, we're blessed to be alive in a country which is very moderate in its climate, not so moderate in its beauty. I think, alhamdulillah, Allah blesses abundantly with beauty of this country. But sometimes we have a very difficult situation in our lives as we look around us, and things are not so beautiful because of the conduct of people, because of what man's hands have set forth. Just want to go to the Quran, inshallah, and just frame this this brief khutbah today, inshallah. I know it's a quote-unquote holiday Bermuda day. Some people want to go out and just enjoy the sunshine. And inshallah, I'll be remiss if I don't do this, even this little bit, inshallah. Allah says in the Quran, I quote, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ولا تقولوا لمن يقتل في سبيل الله أموات الأحياء ولكن لا تشعرون. And do not say about those who are killed in the way of Allah that they are dead, rather they are alive, that you perceive it not. This ayat in the Quran is so relevant today, as we see that so many of our dear brothers and sisters, people we don't know personally, but we know them to be Muslim, alhamdulillah, so we feel for them. I'm talking about the people in Gaza and Palestine in general, and what's happened to them. The question is, what responsibility do we, who are not in that area of the world, what responsibility do we Muslims have to our brothers and sisters who are being massacred and slaughtered and driven out of their homes? This is the question. And this is a question for the leaders of the Muslims and for the awliya and for, I guess you could say, the scholars of the deen and anyone who wants to say that he believes in Allah on the last day, to at least reflect upon it. I go back to the Quran, just read the English. It's from Al-Ashab, combined forces, the Allied forces. And this is not referring to the Allied forces of Muslims. And trust me, and likewise today, we don't see too much of an alliance of the Muslim forces either. They seem to be absent. Anyway, in the name of Allah, the most kind and the most merciful one, and mention to them, O Muhammad, when we took from the prophets their covenant, and from you, and from Nuh alayhi salam, and Ibrahim, and Musa, and Isa ibn Maryam, and we took from them a very solemn covenant. And this is the 7th ayah in Azhar, and it continues on. In the 8th one, that Allah took this covenant from the prophets, and it continues that He, Allah, may question the truthful about their truth, what they say, and yet prepare for the disbelievers a painful punishment. Of course, we know even the most person who's not so studied so much, we know that Allah is fully aware of what's taking place in Gaza, what's taking place in Bermuda, everywhere. But again, the question is, what responsibility, or what should be our response here in Bermuda? What should we say, what we should do? Well, we know what to say because Allah has taught us what to say in the times of adversity, let alone killing and death and so on. Inna ilahi wa inna ilahi raji'un. That indeed, we come from Allah and we're going back to Allah, all of us, including the brothers and sisters in Gaza. We know that. But the question is, what should we do? What happened during the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Did he ever face these kinds of odds and difficulty? And the answer, of course, is yes. Again, I go to Al-Azhar, ayah 16 to 19. Say to them, O Muhammad, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, never will fleeing benefit you if you should flee from death or killing, and then even if you did, you would not be given enjoyment of life, except for a little. Saying, who is it that can protect you from Allah if He intends for you an ill or harm, or if He intends for you a mercy? And they will not find for themselves besides Allah any protector or any helper. Already Allah knows the hinderers among you, and those hypocrites who say to their brothers, come to us, and do not go to battle, except for a few, indisposed toward you. And when fear comes, you see them looking at you, their eyes revolving like one being overcome by death. But when fear departs, they lash you with sharp tongues. Indisposed towards any good, those that have not believed, so Allah has rendered their deeds worthless, and ever is that for Allah very easy. What am I talking about? I'm saying that even during the time of the Prophet, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the Muslims faced enormous odds. I'm saying that is it just by chance that we're talking today, again, during a sacred month, Dhul Qa'dah, and you know that you heard at least about the Battle of the Trench. And I'm saying we don't have time to do the full story today during the khutbah. Again, I won't disrespect your time like that. But inshallah, I would like to invite you to come tomorrow evening during the community night if you have time. At 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, inshallah. Because I would like to explore with you exactly what took place and what we should be thinking about and what we should be doing, even in this tiny country called Bermuda, to help the situation and to make sure that on the Day of Judgment, inshallah ta'ala, that at least our conscience is clear, that we did as much as we could to assist our brothers and sisters there. Not to mention here and other places, for example, in Africa, in not just Sudan, but also in Ethiopia, that whole region is in turmoil. And we know that, you know, in Bangladesh and in Pakistan and those neighboring countries, the Muslims having difficulties, in India and so on, everywhere. And I'm saying we have to go to the Book of Allah to find the answers as what we can do for our brothers and sisters. Because it's just a matter of time that maybe Allah will test us in similar ways or in different ways that will be severe to us. And inshallah, may Allah come to our rescue on those situations. But I just want to remind you that this is a very, very special time we're living in. You know, I heard this morning that last night there was some bad traffic accident, another one. I think we've had 2 or 3 in 1 week, in the past week. And then this morning, there was a huge accident up the North Shore. I think 2 trucks, and even one was a water truck and a bike or a car, I'm not sure, I don't know the details, because I was busy this morning. But also down on Front Street, at the parade situation, he told me that one woman, she stabbed this man in the head on Front Street. This is not normal. But I'm saying these are the times we're living in. Expect anything that can happen. But alhamdulillah, Allah didn't just leave us alone, you know, to just guess what to do. But we have to get together. We have to come together. It's a unified struggle. Just like during the time of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, praise be to Allah, Allah caused Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam to be able to galvanize the people and bring them together so they could strategize. Remember that trench? That was nothing but a strategy. And alhamdulillah. And it wasn't the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam that came up with that idea. Salman al-Farsi, for example, he proposed it. And alhamdulillah, that strategy was employed and it gave them success in defending Medina at that time. I'm saying we can use the same process of thinking and reasoning, bringing the people together instead of being apart, so we can have collective solutions to our problems. Right here in this country, but also in other countries. We can be the catalyst, inshallah. And I'm saying this one, and I think it's so very important, but I'll read the ayah from Surah Al-Baqarah, from which that well-known dua referring to death comes from, And Allah says in the ayah 155, and we will surely test you with something of fear and hunger and the loss of wealth and lives and fruits, but give the tidings to the patient one. Salih. I'm saying that we have to prepare ourselves. You're going to wait until something happens and then you're called of God? No. I'm saying we have to unify the Muslim people. We can do it. We have enough spiritual energy, inshallah. We have to harvest it. We have to bring it together. We have enough financial energy too. We have enough intelligence, collective intelligence. But do we have the will, the desire to do? That's the question. And don't worry about the munafiqun, the hypocrites. You always have that. This is another form of a test. Don't listen to that. This is garbage. This is the whisperings of shaitan. We have to do what we have to do. In every country, including this one. I'm saying that don't be afraid of death, because death is going to come whether you're terrified or not. You're going to die anyway. It doesn't make any difference. So this is something, and when I say death, I don't mean to sort of frighten anybody. It's not about that. I'm saying a loss. Don't be afraid to take a loss. The wealthiest people in the world will tell you that they took many losses before they became wealthy, successful. So don't be afraid about taking a loss. This is all part of the road to success. But you have to dig in. You have to make sacrifices. We have to do that. Stop living like, you're trying to follow the kuffar. I'm okay, you're okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. The Muslims do not have that kind of option. You made a covenant with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala when you swore the shahada. Whether it was you're born into a Muslim family or not, you have that covenant with Allah. You have to make that sacrifice and demonstrate your love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and your love for the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. This is your responsibility. This is my responsibility. This is our responsibility. Inshallah, again, I repeat, I would love for us to sit down tomorrow as an example, and it's not the last of a series. It's a series of talks. We have to sit down and talk. How's it going? Is everything perfect for you? Good. Tell me how it can be perfect with me then, and vice versa. I'm saying it's about Jumu'ah. It's not just about you as an individual, because you as an individual will die. And I as an individual will die. Everyone's going to die. And I'm saying, don't be selfish. With your deen, don't be selfish with whatever Allah has blessed you with, whether it be intelligence, whether it be skills that you have, whatever it is, put it on the table so that Islam can be safe, so your children can be safe, so you can be safe. Inshallah ta'ala. أقول قولي هذا وأستغفر الله لي ولكم ولسائر المسلمين استغفروه إنه هو الغفور الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. عباد الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون. اذكروا الله العظيم يذكركم واشكروا يزدكم واستغفروا يغفر لكم واتقوا يجعل لكم من أمركم مخرجا. أقيموا الصلاة.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح وقد قامت الصلاة وقد قامت الصلاة. الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله.
Just keep the line straight, inshallah. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين، إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. سبح اسم ربك الأعلى الذي خلق فسوى والذي قدر فهدى والذي أخرج المرعى فجعله غثاء أهوى سنقرئك فلا تنسى إلا ما شاء الله إنه يعلم الجهر وما يخفى ونيسرك لليسرى فذكر إن نفعت الذكرى سيذكر من يخشى ويتجنبها الأشقى الذي يصلى النار الكبرى ثم لا يموت فيها ولا يحيا قد أفلح من تزكى وذكر اسم ربه فصلى بل تؤثرون الحياة الدنيا والآخرة خير وأبقى إن هذا لفي الصحف الأولى صحف إبراهيم وموسى. الله سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، الرحمن الرحيم، مالك يوم الدين، إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين، اهدنا الصراط المستقيم، صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. هل أتاك حديث الغاشية وجوه يومئذ خاشعة عاملة ناصبة تصلى نارا حامية تسقى من عين آنية ليس لهم طعام إلا من ضريع لا يسمن ولا يغني من جوع وجوه يومئذ ناعمة لسعيها راضية في جنة عالية لا تسمع فيها لاغية فيها عين جارية فيها سرور مرفوعة وأكواب موضوعة ونمارق مصفوفة وزرابي مبثوثة أفلا ينظرون إلى الإبل كيف خلقت وإلى السماء كيف رفعت وإلى الجبال كيف نصبت وإلى الأرض كيف سطحت فذكر إنما أنت مذكر لست عليهم بمسيطر إلا من تولى وكفر فيعذبه الله عذابا أكبر إن إلينا إجابهم ثم إن علينا حسابهم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.